Trump just signed a massive historic bill that is going to be making waves across the crypto enterprise. Honestly, now not a whole lot of it's been realized yet because there's a lot of different stuff happening and circulating around the crypto industry. I mean, yes, it is been such a crazy previous few days. I haven't had time to genuinely record a video. I've simply been streaming all of those events between the crypto czar, between Trump, between all of the crypto associated discussions which can be happening. I simply have not had time, but now I'll finally be capable of dive a little bit deeper into everything, analyze it with you guys and show you some of the facts I've been waiting to talk for, either simply nowadays as it turned into simply announced, or perhaps even a day or two in the past from now too. So first, I wanted to talk about this. There's a lot happening in geopolitics. There's plenty occurring with the USA economic system. There's going to be $9 trillion, $200 billion of US debt that's going to mature or want to be refinanced very quickly. That's the highest number we've got visible pretty a lot ever. Duration. The US now holds approximately 36.2 trillion well worth of presidency debt, meaning 25 to 4% of the overall is set to mature and of path. This is the real cause that real quotes are rising, not what the Fed is announcing. The Fed basically method nothing at this factor. The actual quotes preserve going up, and that is why. For some context, the USA has delivered $23 trillion of debt, considering the fact that 2008, which is a 230% boom, and considering the fact that 2020, the full US debt is up 13 trillion or 2.6 trillion, according to YER, for 5 years straight. Much of this debt became refinanced, ultimate 12 months, and another fundamental block of its miles due in 2025. Now, when there may be quite a few debt this is developing to maturity, it poses a whole lot of questions. What's going to show up with this debt? Who goes to be paying what? Well, especially with a person like Trump and off, so we are able to expect some absolute fireworks to move off. We can see American government, as they flood the market with bonds, bond prices will fall and yields will hold to upward push. It's simple, deliver and call for. This is why the actual yields have moved in the straight line higher, on account that 2022 real yields suggest inflation isn't always the #1 driving force behind the current move in higher prices. You can also see from the start of the charge cuts to mid-January, the 10-year notice yield jumped 115 basis points. That's a 9.2 trillion of government debt matures this 12 month. So yeah, simply surely insane stuff. We're going to appear some large consequences inside the markets here, men, and a huge shift on how people are investing all in their cash. Now, talking of particularly crypto enforcement efforts, there may be some pretty crazy updates right here too. We can see that the SEC reduces crypto enforcement efforts, reassigning over 50 legal professionals working on cryptocurrency instances. This is virtually an great issue for the crypto marketplace. The SEC is now focusing a lot less on actual enforcement or regulation by using enforcement, and rather they're going ahead and they're releasing a totally clean framework for anybody to operate off of. Recently, David Sachs, the crypto czar, had a speech these days simply in which he mentions this is a pinnacle precedence. He says, we're running on reassessing and changing the SEC, basically transferring around a group of attorneys so that we are no longer paying the SEC as much as we have been previously, so that we will finally simply fear about the very clear legal guidelines that are going to be set into motion and not have to worry about whatever else. If you reflect on consideration on it, it makes a whole lot of sense. Proper? Instead of doing law by means of enforcement, just like the preceding SEC administration, they're instead going to position out a very clear framework. And properly, that is going to make anyone's lives lots simpler. You're now not going to need to proactively move after all and sundry when they do not even understand what the policies clearly are anymore. There's all these complaints are going to be dropped, like with Coinbase, like with Ripple. And so this is going to be actually satisfactory. Now, speak me of our crypto czar, David Sachs. I'm going to play this clip for you. Men who talked about something pretty huge. I'm going to play this clip real quick. Listen up, and we're going to get into what it matter. So one of the matters that the president told us to do became to assess the concept for a Bitcoin reserve. And so that is one of the matters. It really is one of the first matters we are going to have a look at as a part of the internal operating group inside the management. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're nonetheless waiting for a few cabinet secretaries who are at the running organization to get confirmed. So we are nonetheless within the very early tiers of this, but it really is one of the first things we are going to have a look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the idea of the sovereign wealth fund's a bit separate, and also you'd have to talk to Secretary Ludnick, or soon to be Secretary Ludnick, approximately that. Excited about that. It says it'll be one of the first things they study as a Bitcoin reserve. And of course, they may be additionally liberating a sovereign wealth fund for you to permit them to look at investing into different US-based cryptocurrency initiatives as well, together with XRP. So I'm quite enthusiastic about that. At the same time as this, we also have Senator Ted Cruz calling to completely abolish the IRS. Now, I really need this to be the case, okay, abolishing the IRS. Elon Musk is also, speak me, approximately investigating the IRS right now too. So there may be quite a few strain on each unmarried authorities organization. The SEC, the IRS, USAID, among so many others, are below a lot scrutiny right now. And that is high quality because taxpayers are going to be of direction, expertise, that their money goes to a good deal better use now, at least in the United States of America. And you know, the entire world is watching this, and the complete world is going to have a miles clearer precedent as to how they need their taxpayer dollars controlled as well, shifting forward. And so I got to mention, I'm honestly glad that the US is doing this. Just seeing all of the waste across the US government in the end get addressed and there being answers put in vicinity is without a doubt super. And a path, you know, a well-greased wheel, it's going to be extremely good for crypto as nicely. It's going to permit the entirety to perform plenty more smoothly. And I do assume that this is going to allow innovation to subsequently begin really commencing in the United States. So I'm virtually excited about the whole thing that we are seeing here. Real brief, before we get back to the video, I want to bring a quick phrase from brand new sponsor Fuse, which is a layer constructed on the EVM, Ethereum mainnet, constructed in particular for businesses. And listen, maximum of the time, I'm not about all of those EVM, cryptocurrency tasks. I am now not top-notch massive on Ethereum, but what I noticed what this one should do, I turned into actually surprised, and I concept you guys could be simply interested in it to do as properly. Some of the functions that they have got is, of course, 0 transactions consistent with second, as you guys can see right here. Absolutely out of the ordinary. They have over 150 mission integrations already in 135 million transactions, and their per 100,000 transaction value is handiest at $1. That is simply insane. This is genuinely crazy for EVM or simply Ethereum layer 2. So there is pretty plenty, not anything like this. This absolutely outpaces the likes of Polygon and so many others. You can see that those are their important enterprise toolkits that they offer. They have Fuse Ember, which is an EVM like-minded blockchain. They have Edison, that is an AI business agent. And then additionally, they have Fusebox, which creates cell apps for iOS and Android with Web3 using the Fuse community. This is of root, in my point of view, truly, and in step with the website as well, the first-class associate to scale your business in case you're seeking to build on Ethereum and you want a layer 2 that is of root going to make your lifestyles a lot simpler. And when we look at the charge of this project, it's far still so undervalued when you have a look at its functionality and its software and its use case as compared to the likes of Polygon. I mean, there is no assessment. However, this market cap proper now simplest at 500 million quantity, which approximately 1 million in quantity, which is quite properly inside the closing 24 hours. They get quite a few extant, but their marketplace cap remains so low. I think they've a number of room to develop. I may want to, without difficulty, see this factor going inside the tens of millions of market cap within the close to future as more and more humans find out approximately it